Starbucks announces more details to their web3 loyalty program. Hence, I took a deeper look at loyalty programs in general and Starbucks plans in web3 specifically. To be honest, an astonishing journey. Happy to share it with you in this episode. Hello and welcome to the Bernhard Neumann podcast. Here you get insights, assessments, knowledge around the topics Web3, NFTs, and crypto. I'm your host Bernhard, and I help brands successfully get started with Web3, the metaverse, and NFTs, with trainings, workshops, actionable strategies, and convincing communication, so that the whole thing has method and brings results. For my frequent listeners, this is my first English episode. I want to play around with it, so let's enjoy and see how it goes. I also am looking forward to your feedback here. All right, let's jump into the topic. I don't think I promised too much by saying it's astonishing. I at least wasn't aware how big loyalty programs are and how big they are for companies. And so let's have a general view of what loyalty programs are, how big they are. There's a couple of numbers I would like to share, and then we can move forward specifically towards loyalty programs in Web3. We had a 2-hour-long Twitter space on the topic, and I think we made a really interesting journey within that Twitter space from saying, okay, how does it work for Web3 and what do they actually trying to do here, especially with regards to Starbucks, what are they trying to do? And so I would like to share that with you, and I think it is a little journey we can share here together. So let's get started. I found a number: 90% of companies have some type of customer loyalty program. I find this very high, but let's say it's 80%, let's say it's 75%, still meaning that's a lot of companies. It seems to be a very important aspect of doing business. And this has good reasons. For example, 84% of consumers say that they're more apt to stick with a brand that offers a loyalty program. And also they say they're more likely to spend with that brand that they're part of a loyalty program. Makes total sense. I personally am also in a couple of loyalty programs. But the math checks out, as you will see in a second. So all in all, you have more customer referrals. People say, oh yeah, hey, so this brand, you get points. It's all great. So there's more customer referrals. There's a much higher customer retention through loyalty programs. People get sucked into this ecosystem, and maybe they have some rewards and everything. So obviously you're not switching and you're starting from zero somewhere. Also, it happens to generate more sales, and not just by a little bit. I have a number for you which says that about over 50% of the revenue, I think it's 55% of the revenue that Starbucks does in the United States comes from their loyalty program members. 55%. Very significant. Also, a last aspect of loyalty programs that I would like to mention at this point is that loyalty programs often also makes customers into brand advocates. They're just very passionate about it, and they can't wait to tell everyone about it. And that's obviously the dream come true for any brand. And so that's also one aspect. I think before we dive into the more concrete example of Starbucks, I would like to give you some numbers that I found really astonishing, and it's related to airlines, which those numbers actually just came out because of the COVID pandemic, because all those airlines were facing bankruptcy, and then they took out loans, and since they didn't want to loan against their airline business, which was not that valuable anyways, they loaned against their rewards program systems. And that's when the general public realized, oh my God, this is how big it is. It's actually that big that you would say an airline is more of a loyalty program company than actually an airline. And let's look at the numbers. Are you ready for this? We have 3 airlines. We have United, Delta, and American Airlines. So The market capitalization, all of the stocks valued together, are worth about 10 billion of United. Have a guess? The loyalty program, which they took a loan out against, is valued at $21.9 billion. That is more than double the value of the actual airline. Delta, 20 billion market cap, 26 billion loyalty program. American Airlines, 6 billion market cap, 25.5 billion loyalty program estimated value, which they took a loan out against. So it's not their, generous guess. It's actually what banks were willing to give them. Yeah, so let's let those numbers sink in for a little bit. I watched an interesting video on YouTube, actually very educational, and it made very clear that the whole magic of the whole loyalty programs, again, are the points. And the points, why the points? Because the whole trick is that the points have an actual dollar amount value, that you can sell a point to a partner, for example. That's what airlines do. Here's Hertz, here's our points. You can pass them on to your customers, so they're more likely to go with you. And again, they're maybe more likely to go with us as an airline then. And the whole game of loyalty programs is that you can actually sell the points for actual dollars. If you think it through, that actually makes a loyalty program company like an airline into a central bank, into the ability to issue money, because they can make as many points as they like, obviously, like there's no limit here. And so, yeah, that's really interesting. Like I had an epiphany here, because that's the game of loyalty programs. It's not all the other stuff. It's just, can you convince enough people that your points have actual dollar amount value. And interestingly enough, obviously that's the same thing with euro or dollar or any currency, and also in the crypto realm. It's about giving that coin utility, so it has perceived value, or it has actual value. And so with that in mind, I think it gave me a whole different look on the whole Starbucks case, moving royalty programs into Web3. Because I would strongly argue that, and that's what became clear, like when you read the headline, Starbucks goes Web3 with their loyalty program. They have 27 million loyalty program customers. That sounds like, okay, they're gonna put their coin, their tokens on the blockchain. It's gonna be a cryptocurrency, and everything is NFTs. And in the space we had on Wednesday, we came to the conclusion more and more that it's actually not such a great move to directly copy a Web2 business, a Web2 loyalty program, and put it on the blockchain. That's not a great solution. It doesn't make it that much better, and especially not for the company doing the royalty program. For the holder, for the customer, it's actually quite a bit better to have it on the blockchain, because your coins get changeable. Like you can trade them, you can sell them, you can move them yourself, so you can move them out of the ecosystem. There's a lot of benefits here, but for the company that gives out the tokens, there's quite a bit of disadvantages actually. So let's have a look into Starbucks. As I said, very big rewards program, one of the biggest in the world, one of the most successful also. We mentioned over 50% of the revenue comes from those people. And so now Starbucks says, okay, we're going to go in Web3. And they announced this a couple of weeks back. And now, beginning of this week, they said, okay, here's some more details. We have partnered with Polygon, which is a sidechain of Ethereum. Very low fees, hardly any fees. A very reliable blockchain, to be honest. Quite a good choice. And we're going to bring alive this community, actually not community, this 27 million people, and give them a chance to form a community. This is in the end the game I think Starbucks is playing here. It's not a we're gonna put our royalty program on Web3, on the blockchain. Because if you think about it, as we distilled, the game is to make the token worth something and then be able to issue as many tokens as you like. If you do this on chain, it's way too transparent for the issuer, for the airline, let's say, or for Starbucks. And you can put the supply infinite, but obviously it's very transparent. So people say, like another billion, really? Like that drops the value of the token. In the current Web2 system, there's no really way of telling how many tokens are out there, so no problems. So I strongly assume that they will not put the rewards points on chain, because that takes away their ability to just issue coins like central banks just issue money out of thin air. And so that became clear in the beginning. Also, I think it's important for many people to understand. If you say, okay, hey, here's to everyone in the loyalty program, here's a token that shows that you're a loyal customer. By doing that, they put a target on their customers, not in terms of like someone is gonna show up at your doorstep, but they open up the race to market to those people, because now everyone in the world can see this wallet has this token. So here is a coffee lover, and I'm gonna try to reach this person and do something for them. And so we have the so-called vampire attacks, which means that new players, new projects, new companies target holders of current tokens. And for example, in the crypto and the NFT marketplace, there was OpenSea, and then there came this new marketplace, and it gave you tokens of their project in accordance to how much you used the other service, which they could determine because it's all on chain. And so that's called a vampire attack. And so that's one risk companies have when they issue tokens to customers, which are in the past, in their data banks. Nobody can see them, nobody can access them. And now you give them a token, and now people can much easier market to those people. And that's a big issue. So that's why we concluded, okay, just to simply copy the model and bring it on chain is not the way forward. It's probably not the right way. It's customer centric and does give value to the customer, but it's pretty bad deal for the company. But what is Starbucks doing? Because they are certainly not dumb. They're the opposite. They handle this very smart. And so what are they doing is a metaverse, a Web3 play, and a community play. This is not really about their rewards program. This is about getting established in Web3 and in the metaverse. Because I feel like they're very aware of this, and they do think it's coming. They think there will be a digital world much more connected than we have right now. And there will be digital economies. I mean, it does make sense. Like they have, like always, their thing was the third place, like such a good marketing strategy and term. You have work and you have home, and then your third place is Starbucks, because you go there and you feel welcome. You feel like almost at home, but it's a place between work and home. Totally makes sense for what they're selling, obviously. And so finding the third place in the metaverse makes also sense. We're much more in a home office, and at home we're more online. So finding a place there to hang out obviously makes sense. And that's where the metaverse comes into play. I'm not saying this is going to be tomorrow, but there will be experiences in the next couple of years where people increasingly say, oh yeah, this is cool. And so it makes total sense to do a metaverse play. That's what Starbucks is doing. They're giving out stamps, they're giving out collectibles as NFTs. But as I said, it's not a copy of their royalty program just on Web3. It's a metaverse play, and then it's a community thing. And they have a beautiful press release, which is very well written. Congrats to whoever is advising them. and also is writing these things. That's really spot on. And I would like to read their Hollywood quote, as I would call it. So Brady Brewer can't make this up. His name is really Brady Brewer, and he brews coffee. His company does. And he says, for the first time, we are connecting our Starbucks Rewards loyalty program members not just to Starbucks, but to each other. I mean, come on. How beautiful, how cheesy, but yet it is true, like that's also the spirit of Web3. Like there is really this sense of community, and especially if you have something like an NFT that you own, but it's also part of a collection, that really gives you a very strong feeling of community. And it seems very abstract for people that don't have NFTs. I have a lot of them. And I actually, am active in those communities, and I meet those people. And it's such it's meeting old friends. It's meeting your brother, kind of your sister. It's crazy what kind of community this can form, and what it can align people around. Really interesting. And so I totally get it what Starbucks is doing. They're doing a metaverse play because that's where they want to be positioned, because less and less people move out of their homes, but they're going to be digital. If you can sell someone digital stuff in the metaverse, as Starbucks, give them some experience, create some value here, then that's a smart move. And on top of that, you create community. And imagine if only a couple of million of those 27 come together. What a force this can be for Starbucks in terms of marketing, having macro influencers on a big scale. There's a bunch to be won there for Starbucks, and I think they're going about it in a very smart way so far. And so I think that's what I want to leave you with. I would like for you to take away that the game of loyalty programs is that the coin, the points are actually worth some dollar amount, some euro amount that you can sell. There will be people, if it's attractive enough for airlines, it works very well. There's other partners that want to buy those coins and give them to also their customers to incentivize them. That's one point I learned and I found really fascinating. Obviously, the numbers regarding the airlines are just insane. It's their business to do a rewards program. It's not their business to fly. As we all know, also airlines are a horrible business model. Thirdly, I would like to pass on my conclusion. I don't think it's a good idea for the companies that are doing loyalty programs to just blindly copy it over to Web3. I think there's many pitfalls that you should avoid. But what I do think is very smart, and Starbucks is doing this with their whole Starbucks Odyssey experience, which is this Web3 experience, is the metaverse play, where you establish yourself in this digital realm. And, it's not a thing right now, but it will be a thing in 5 years, in 10 years. And if you collect all this experience, if you already bring the people there, your transition towards that economy is a much better one than a company that just starts out in 5 years and tries to catch up. And aside from the metaverse play, it's a community play, and that's just magical. If you can create a community around, they already have a community, but it's not interacting, I guess, yet. But if you can help those people to find each other who all love coffee that much, who have other similarities, then you can create, first of all, an awesome product, an awesome experience for your customers, which should be first, right? Customer-centric. But you can also generate amazing possibilities in terms of upsales, in terms of those people marketing your products for free, and so on and so on. So lots to be gained here. And that would be my conclusion. I hope you found value in this. Thank you very much for listening. And till the next time, have an excellent weekend.